Welcome to Azure AI Foundry, where developing with agents is easier than ever before. Let's get started from the homepage and click Create an Agent. We'll give our project a name and then get started. We're dropped directly into the agent playground where we can get started by asking it to write a poem for us. Now let's try uploading some files to the agent and have it answer questions about those files. We'll pick some markdown files that we have here and hit upload. Now let's ask a question and see what it retrieves. Here we can see that it's retrieving information from the files, answering those questions, and the agent is even giving us some file references and citations. That's great. Now we want to go and take a look at what it looks like in code. First, we'll click the View Code button. Then we'll click this new Open in VS Code option, which will create a new VS Code instance running in Azure Cloud Shell for us with the code and environment ready to go. Now that VS Code is loaded, we can run the included agent Python file here, which has the code that matches what we just saw in the playground. Let's go ahead and run it from the terminal. And we'll see we're getting a similar output in code that we saw in the playground. If we look at the included instructions, we can also see that we can deploy a web app that allows us to interact with this agent from a browser. Let's go ahead and initialize the web app. And now let's provision and deploy it using the azd-up command. We can go ahead and visit the application that's deployed by clicking on the link in the terminal. And now we see a similar response in this web app. Heading back over to VS Code, we can take our code and push it to GitHub so that we can continue locally. Over in VS Code, I can see that this application template has evaluation built in. Here I can define some evaluation queries and use the provided evaluation script to run a series of quality and safety evaluators on my agent. When I run this script, I get results output to the terminal and logged back to my Foundry resource in the portal where I can view them. Here I can see all the queries and responses and the scores for each agent run. This template also has an evaluation GitHub action configured so that when I check in code changes, I'll run evaluation using a set of test inputs. When this action runs, it lets me test out a few different agent IDs provided as variants and gives me different scores for each of the variants so I can see which agent version is better or worse than previous versions. And inside of the application, we have continuous evaluation configured with sampling enabled so that we can get evaluation scores produced on our production traffic. And back in the monitoring page of our Foundry project, we get operational and evaluation metrics tracked over time as our application runs, and we can use this to understand and spot issues. That was a quick tour of using the Azure AI Foundry API and SDK to build applications end-to-end with Azure AI Foundry. Head on over to ai.azure.com and get started today.